Hey there and welcome. Four crafty penguins go on an adventure, blending spy tactics with a bit of chaos, learning along the way that it's action, not appearances, that ultimately define one's value. Today we're going to tell you the story of 2014's Penguins of Madagascar. In the inhospitable wasteland of Antarctica, an egg rolls downhill toward a long line of cute and carefree penguins. Among them, three young chicks question where they're all headed and decide to fly to the front of the line. However, as they're flightless, they discover their flippers are only good for high-oneing each other.
Let's call it the, high one.
Just then, the egg from earlier bowls over them, but to much to their confusion, no one seems to care. Upon hearing that it's only natural to lose a few eggs now and then, one of the chicks, named Skipper, rejects the idea. He chases after the egg, but it has already tipped over a cliff, landing on an abandoned ship, where leopard seals take an interest in it. While the most analytical chick, Kowalski, comes up with plans on how to save it. A group of humans push them over a cliff for documentary purposes. Thankfully, the chicks are unfazed, and the third one, Rico, saves the egg by swallowing it whole. After successfully escaping the seals, they end up on an iceberg where they celebrate their victory and high-oneing each other. Skipper accidentally slaps the egg, causing it to crack and waking the chick inside. When it emerges from the egg, the three young penguins adopt him as their youngest brother, Private. On the lone iceberg, the foursome look to make their way to the future.
Glorious future.
In the glorious future, the penguins are sick of the song that their friends from Madagascar are constantly singing.
Really getting tired of this song.
In a desperate bid to escape, they launch themselves from a cannon. As it's Private's 10th birthday, they infiltrate the United States gold depository at Fort Knox, skillfully bypassing all the security measures. They ignore all the gold and focus on the vending machine that's in another room at the far end. Seeing that it's filled with cheesy dibbles gets their youngest excited. This is what the group decided to get for his birthday, not knowing that Private's real wish is acknowledgement, to be recognized as an important and official member of the team, not just the cutest member. Suddenly, the birthday boy gets sucked into the vending machine. When his brothers notice, they try to get him out, but they too get pulled inside the machine by a tentacle. Then the tentacle vending machine escapes Fort Knox and gets picked up by a purple chopper. The next morning, they arrive in Venice, where they're dropped into a submarine. The four penguins, who are all orange from the cheesy dibbles that they've been snacking on the entire trip, escape their cage using Rico's paperclip. Sneakily, Private keeps the clips
Behind enemy lines and incredibly thirsty.
storing it in the same way Rico does with all other things, inside his stomach, which with much difficulty. Suddenly, he spots a red button and promptly presses it. Before Skipper can stop him, he pushes another red button, triggering a laser. After the three older penguins prevent their youngest from pressing a third red button, a human drops from the ceiling, landing in a twist of limbs on the floor, much to the penguins' horror. To humans, the man is known as Dr. Otavius Brine, a renowned geneticist, but to the penguins, he insists that they know him by a different name. He transforms into an octopus named Dave, but the four don't have the slightest idea as who he is.
Kowalski. Sorry, sir, no clue.
Offended that they've forgotten him, Dave recounts the past. Back in New York, he was the star of the Central Park Zoo. However, the penguins arrived and upstaged him. He was passed off between zoos as an unwanted animal, forgotten and robbed of his home. In every zoo he ended up in, the penguins got all the attention, while he got none. Now, Dave wants revenge. With the Medusa serum that he's developed, he now has the means to destroy them. The octopus minions surround them, but Rico swallows the serum, along with Dave's snow globe collection, as the penguins deploy their secret weapon, cheesy dibbles dust, and the foursome escape. Outside the submarine, the penguins hijack a gondola as Dave's minions pursue them. When they're trapped at a dead end, unexpected help arrives. Dave's minions are defeated, and the rescuers introduce themselves as the North Wind. Aboard their aircraft, a polar bear called Corporal finds the penguins irresistibly cute. Skipper confronts their leader, demanding to know who they are, while casually munching cheesy dibbles. The wolf reveals North Wind is an elite undercover interspecies task force dedicated to helping defenseless animals like penguins. As the leader refuses to disclose his name, Skipper assumes that the wolf's name is literally classified. The North Wind leader introduces Shortfuse, a harp seal who's in charge of weapons and explosives, Corporal, who's their muscle, and Eva, a snowy owl who's in charge of intelligence and analysis. Skipper introduces the penguins, less impressively, with Kowalski being obviously smitten with Eva. Inside Northwind headquarters, Skipper details relevant information about Dr. Brine when Classified starts talking about the Medusa serum. The Penguins reveal they've already stolen it from Dave, to the agent's surprise. Suddenly, their system is hacked. It's Dave, but there's no audio.
Your microphone, it's not on.
After sorting out the technical issues, the octopus starts his villainous monologue. He has the Medusa serum in his lab and now intends to extract his revenge. After he ends the call, Northwind HQ receives an alert. Penguins have been taken from zoos around the world. The agents and the penguins immediately move, but as Skipper and the penguins start stealing Northwind stuff to join the mission, Classified shoots all of them with tranquilizer darts. When they wake up, the penguins find themselves in a plane and once again, they escape. Skipper and the others are in Shanghai, but they mistakenly think that they're in Dublin. Using a news report in Dave's snow globes, they deduce that the octopus's next target is the zoo in Shanghai. Wasting no time, they pack themselves up to be shipped to Shanghai, and they arrive at the same place that they left. Inside the Shanghai marine world, the disguised penguins spot Dave, and Skipper announces that they're executing their plan. Everyone gets into position, and Skipper enlists Private to create a diversion by disguising himself as a penguin mermaid. While all the humans are distracted by Private's cuteness, Rico drives Dave away from the penguins using highly aggressive seals. When the Northwind agents arrive, Kowalski traps Dr. Brine with a whale skeleton. However, the octopus escapes through the pipes and kidnaps the mermaid penguins, including Private. The other three penguins pursue the villains, stealing Northwind's jet in a desperate attempt to save their youngest. Classified and the others chase after the thieving penguins to get their aircraft back, but it's too late. As the penguins have no idea how to fly it, they end up blowing up the Northwind jet. Thankfully, everyone survives, and Corporal later picks up a signal coming from a remote island. Short Fuse reveals the signal is coming from Private, as they've been tracking the penguin using the homing devices that Classified put on them with his dart. Even though Skipper is furious at the breach of privacy, he still acknowledges it was a good move. Inside Dave's lair, Private finds the abducted penguins all locked up in cages. When the villain appears, he reveals that, contrary to what everyone believes, his Medusa serum doesn't kill anybody. Rather, Dave demonstrates that it turns anyone into an ugly and disfigured monster. Shocked, Private accidentally reveals himself, and he's captured. The octopus realizes that they need not look for the other three penguins, as they'll surely come to save Private. Outside, Eva discovers that there are many enemies on the island, and to save Private, Kowalski calculates that they need a diversion. Skipper immediately demands that Classified work for them and the diversion, but the wolf insists it's the penguins who should act as bait, as it is a Northwind operation. To stop the argument, Eva suggests a plan off. Skipper explains while the agents distract the octopuses, the penguins will strike fast at Dave. Classified mockingly applauds their rudimentary presentation before telling the penguins his detailed plan, with visuals and music to boot.
Where is that music coming from?
The wolf states that while the penguins act as their diversion, the agents will infiltrate the submarine using their superior weapons and explosives. He even sets a precisely timed schedule for all their attractions, and he concludes that when they've captured Dave, Classified will walk away with a huge dramatic explosion behind him. Initially, Skipper tries to defend his plan, but Classified reminds him of Shanghai. The Penguins' plan allowed Dave to escape with Private. When it comes to voting on whose plan they should go with, Kowalski and Rico vote for their plan, but the agents, along with Skipper, vote to go with the Northwind's plan. The Penguin leader admits that Classified's plan is better, saying that they should leave it to the professionals now for Private's sake. Later, the three penguins put on a jolly performance to distract octopuses, allowing the agents to quickly break into the submarine. So far, their plan is a success, but when they reach Dave, all four agents end up getting captured. Outside, Skipper and the others eagerly await the agents' return with Private, and in their excitement, Skipper has Rico let out some fireworks. However, there are no explosions and no returning agents, just as Kowalski mentions that perhaps the fireworks were a tactical mistake. The octopuses capture them from above. Inside the submarine, the three penguins are once again imprisoned in a cage, and not far from their location, they witness the Northwind agents, also captives, being wheeled somewhere else. Dave then welcomes the penguins and shows them a bound Private. When the octopus aims the rays at the youngest penguin, Private informs the others of his real purpose, to turn them into monsters. Dave also reveals that he intends to unleash horrible mutant penguins on the streets of New York. When Kowalski accuses Dave of being a monster, the octopus admits it, stating everyone made it clear to him every day of his life. He He looks forward to see how people react when they see the monster that the penguins will turn into. As Dave intends to try his ray on Private first, the Penguin's three brothers protest, saying that the octopus can't take away Private's cuteness as it's the only thing he's got, much to Private's exasperation. In response, Dave decides to up the ray's power. Desperate, Skipper instructs Rico to take out his paperclip so they can escape, but the penguin doesn't have it. After Dave presses the red button, the ray shoots, and all that's left of Private are a few tiny feathers. His brothers are devastated while Dave is stunned, as disintegrating the penguin wasn't what he intended to do. He resolves to lower the setting for the others while he has the three sad penguins taken away. Unbeknownst to all, Private survived, having successfully used Rico's paperclip to escape. He attempts to follow his brother, but ends up finding the agents instead. Seeing that they're being sent on a ride to their deaths, Private intervenes and saves them. Now that the agents are back in business, Private is disappointed to discover that they intend to regroup first rather than save the penguins immediately, like Skipper would have done. Private and the agents go their separate ways, with the penguin heading to save his brothers. Meanwhile, Skipper, Kowalski, and Rico are thrown in with the other penguins. Dave has disguised himself as Dr. Prine again, and though Skipper makes one last attempt to make the octopus realize that turning them into freaks won't make everybody love Dave, the latter doesn't listen. In New York City, the excited crowds gather upon hearing the news that the penguins have all been found. The submarine docks when Dr. Brine shows up, claiming to have found the penguins. Dave gives the signal to his minions to press the button, and in the next moment, all the penguins except Private have been hit with the Medusa serum. Dr. Brine hypes up the crowd, but when the penguins emerge, the humans freeze. What greets them is the sight of a monstrous and disfigured penguins, and chaos erupts. Private's brothers and all the other penguins have lost their minds, while Dave urges the humans to call the exterminators. Instantly, the fearsome humans arrive, capturing the ugly penguins on sight. Private witnesses the whole scene and is at a loss for what to do when he's trapped by Dave's minions. Somehow he gets a hold of the ray and uses it to escape. He immediately locates Skipper and helps him remember who he is. Recalling fond memories of Private growing up, Skipper regains his sanity and the two reunite. Combining their efforts, they round up Kowalski and Rico, restoring their sanity and their memories as well. Now that they're back to themselves, the foursome are determined to save penguin kind. When Skipper says that they need a plan, Private confidently tells him that he has one. After leading his brothers to Dave's ray, the youngest of them tells him that they could just reverse it, but Kowalski thinks doing that is impossible. To replace the Medusa serum, they would need a power source of almost immeasurable cuteness. When they see Private inside the ray, Skipper and the others realize that he intends to sacrifice himself. In his haste to get Private out of the ray, Skipper accidentally causes the ray to shoot, turning a lone ugly penguin back into his original self. Private's plan works, but to his brother's horror, he sprouts a butt hand. Still, Private insists on pushing through the pain, saying that he can do what needs to be done this time. He declares himself the secret weapon.
I'm the secret weapon!
While his brothers salute him. At the same time, Dave sees his ray powered up by the penguins and hurries to get it while mobilizing his minions. Kowalski and Rico set up a beam splitter on the ray, but when Skipper moves to press the button, nothing happens. It turns out that the remote has run out of batteries. Private instructs Rico to get the batteries at the store while Skipper and Kowalski hold off the octopuses. While Rico gets distracted by cheesy dibbles, Skipper and Kowalski are overpowered, but thankfully the North Wind agents arrive, causing an explosion on Dave's submarine. However, they get sucked up by an exterminator vehicle. Dave launches himself toward the ray, pushing Kowalski off it. Though Rico comes through with the batteries, he and Skipper get thrown off the ray too. Skipper manages to toss cheesy dibbles towards the button, while Private deals Dave a punch with his butt hand. The octopuses see the cheesy dibble whiz past them, and they hit the button. The ray shoots, transforming all the penguins back to their original selves, while Private transforms many times before becoming encased inside of an egg. When the egg cracks, a pink and purple Private emerges with majestic horns on his head. Skipper hugs him, saying that looks don't matter, but rather, it's what you do that counts. He praises their youngest for saving everyone, finally acknowledging him as an important member of the team. Everyone is cheering for Private when they suddenly realize something. A miniature Dave is stuck inside a snow globe. As a girl in the crowd finds him fascinating, Skipper hands her the snow globe, wishing the octopus happiness despite the girl's vigorous shaping of her new toy. When Classified offers to make amends with the penguins, Kowalski demands jetpacks, but he gets distracted when Eva kisses him. In the end, the penguins get their jetpacks, and they're happy.
Jetpacks are awesome! Agreed!
Days later, the Penguins use Mort to turn Private back to normal, and the Penguins celebrate.
Immeasurable cuteness.
There's no apparent consequences. But later, Mort devours King Julian with pizzazz. So what do you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments, and if you enjoyed this recap, please like and subscribe for more. See you next time.